This is Jonathan Agger, fifth Pro Boxing Fans, joined for the second time this week by Nick Campbell. Nick, after we spoke on Tuesday, I didn't think we'd speak before the fight again, but yeah, crazy 24 hours. What's your reaction to everything that's happened?
Yeah, man. Listen, I think it's probably the most crazy 24 hours I can ever remember in boxing. I know you know, fights getting called off last minute isn't a common thing, but it happens a lot. But I don't think I've ever seen a world title fight getting pulled and then replaced with, in my opinion, probably a better fight. With the two best guys in the division outside Usyk, in my opinion. Yeah, just a crazy time. But listen, I suppose the Saudi factor, the money involved, and the strings that Turkey can pull are probably the reason why we're getting an amazing fight as a replacement.
So what were you thinking when Dubois pulled out? Did you think they could get a name like Bakole so last minute? I guess no one really saw this one coming.
Nah, listen, my heart kind of sank, to be honest with you. I was actually on a FaceTime call with my mum and dad. They're in Australia at the moment. And then I got a notification that came up to say Parker Dubois off. My heart sank. Obviously, I know how much Joe's put into this camp the past 10 weeks, how much he's sacrificed over the past 12 months. So I was pretty devastated for him, to be honest with you, when I seen the news initially. But then it all turned round really quickly. Um, Seen there was a couple of names, Adelaide, Wardley, getting banded round. And then the kind of official announcement came that it was going to be Bakole. And I think even the way Joe found out, he'd been given three names, agreed to them all, and then Spencer kind of told him as he's getting off the golf cart that Bacole's accepted it. So I just mental, man. I've never seen anything like it. But you know what? Like this is supposed to be, or this is the best card I've ever seen in boxing. And I think if they wanted to keep it that way, Martin Bakole was the only other viable option to come in and replace Dubois. AJ wasn't going to take it on this notice. Usyk, he's resting, he's recovering just now. Agit Kabayel and Jili Zhang are both locked in and fighting one another on the same night. So the only other real heavyweight out there to come in and hold up the card was Martin Bakole. So fair play to him for taking it. Like I said, I think him and Joe are the best two heavyweights outside Usyk. So he was the only other guy to replace him.
Obviously, we know we're obviously recording this before they weigh in tonight, but a lot of people are saying, look, is Bakole fit? Like how much has he trained for this? I know you've obviously been in camps with him before and stuff. Uh, what shape do you reckon he's going to be in for fight night?
So to be honest, he looks quite heavy. I think
Yeah.
his last three fights, he's been 285, 299, and 285. But yeah, I think he's going to be heavy. I think he's going to need to make it a 6 round fight. I don't think if it goes past 6 rounds, I think he's going to get in trouble. But he's very dangerous for the first six. Because of the way it's came about, I would probably have to be edging towards Joe 60-40, 65-35. Um, so yeah, I think the camp that Joe's had, the preparation he's had over the past 12 months, Mark was in the Congo 24 hours ago. He's had to get three flights apparently to make it to Saudi. So you would have to say that Joe is the favourite. And if Joe can navigate the first 6 rounds, I think it's going to be a points victory, wide points victory for him.
You say sort of the first 6 rounds, obviously, that's, I guess people expecting Bakole to try and get a quick knockout here. What's it like being in the ring with Bakole?
Tough. Listen, he's there in front of you the whole time. He's you just can't get rid of him. And like I said as well, listen, he trains hard. He keeps himself fit, although he's maybe not in camp. So he'll back himself to come in there and set a tremendously high pace for the first 6 rounds. But yeah, he's pressure. He's there in front of you. Very durable, good chin. Very good skill set as well. Maybe a little bit underrated. A lot of people say he's like George Foreman, but I'd say he's maybe a slightly more skillful George Foreman in his style. But George Foreman's my favourite heavyweight of all time, so that's not. I'm not trying to take anything away from George Foreman. He's the man, but I'd say Martin's a little bit silkier and classier, and his work, and he's got that George Foreman style where he's always there, just hammering away, chapping at the door, putting pressure, and trying to suffocate you.
So do you think this will be a better fight than Dubois Parker would have been?
I don't think I'm the only one that thinks that. I think I seen Eddie Hearn saying that this is a bigger fight or a better fight. I think I've seen Turkey come out and say this is a better fight. I've seen a couple of, off the top of my head, can't remember who, but I've seen quite a few people come out and say that this is a better fight, and I'd agree with that. Like I said, I think these two guys are the best two contenders in the division outside Usyk. It's a shame it's not for the world title, but that goes to show you that Joe, aye, Joe and Martin are both balls of steel, and they're both proving it. They both back themselves. They'll both fight anybody, as said, and I think both men have just as much to risk.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's a hell of a fight, and I think it's probably more entertaining than the previous fight. I think everybody was more interested in Dubois Parker than they were in Bertabayev Bivol. There was more chat, I felt, around that. And I
Yeah.
think just given adding everything into the mix with the call off, Martin's in, 48 hours notice, we don't really know what to expect with this fight. So I think it's going to be the fight of the night. I think it's the fight that most people are, kind of captivated by.
And the other day when we spoke, I asked you, was Dubois the hardest puncher you faced in sparring? And you said he was. Where does Bakole rank for you though? Because he's a sick,
Yeah,
massive puncher as well.
big puncher, different from Daniel, different, more accurate. I would say that Daniel's kind of he hammers the door down. Martin kind of is a lot more accurate and selective with his shots. Um, he puts his punches together better than Daniel. Martin can hit you with four, five, six shots. Puts his punches together very, very well, very fluid in his movement. For such a massive man, he moves incredibly well. That's why I think that the first six rounds are going to be difficult. Whether he's got the fitness behind or the fitness to maintain the pace, it's
Mhm.
going to be a very challenging fight for Joe. But listen, Joe has prepared immaculately for this. The work that he's done behind the scenes in the last 12 months with George Lockhart, the work that he's done in the boxing gym with Andy. Aye, Martin's also got a hell of a set of plums on him to take this fight.
And just lastly, probably a better question for after the fight, but the winner of this fight, where do you think they go now? Is it back to a Dubois fight, AJ, Usyk? Like right now, where would you see like the winner going?
Really difficult to answer this because obviously it was only on Tuesday we spoke about Dubois Parker and they were talking
Yeah.
about Bakole Parker, so much can change so quickly. It's very difficult to say. I think really the winner of this 100% deserves a world title shot. And whether that's Dubois, whether the belts get split up, I don't know. I think the plan was for the winner of Dubois and Parker to fight Usyk. Does the winner of this now fight Usyk? I don't know, but definitely whoever comes out on top deserves a world title shot. Um, yeah, I couldn't really argue with that. I seen that Billy Nelson put online that Martin would still fight a Jaguar in May. I doubt that if he wins this, he's not going to be fighting a Jaguar. Do you know what I mean? He's going to be sitting and waiting out that world title fight. But yeah, both men, whoever comes through it, deserves that world title fight.
Actually, lastly, we know that obviously Bakola's taking this on 2 days' notice. Don't know how much he's trained, but he said, "Look, I'm gonna take the fights, help the show out, make sure Parker fights." How much credit does he deserve afterwards, regardless of what happens? Because sometimes people can quickly jump and say, "Oh, he was no good" and all of this, but he is taking this on 2 days' notice. So do people have to think about that when they assess this fight afterwards, or not?
Yeah, I think it's a kind of win-win for Martin. Um, he's got a lot to risk because obviously he had the IBF eliminator in May that I think he wins. And realistically, these two men were going to end up fighting anyway. I think Joe would have beat Daniel. Martin would have beat a Jaguar. They're both going to end up fighting. So Martin has a lot to risk because he's given up that potential IBF title shot. Equally, Joe's in a lose-lose. Joe's, like I said, been so well prepped. He's had a 10-week training camp. He's supposed to be fighting this night. So it's a real difficult one. But both men deserve the utmost respect. They're both warriors. Both, like I've said a couple of times, both got, balls to burn. They really will fight anyone, both of them. So fair play to Joe for taking it or accepting it. Fair play to Martin for taking it. They've both got equally as much to risk, I believe. And yeah, fair play to both men.
Nick, appreciate you jumping back on 2 days after we spoke. And yeah, I think everyone's looking forward to it. And I'll hopefully get your opinion on how the fight plays out afterwards.
Yeah, definitely. And last point,
Go on.
I just hope that both men come out of this fit and healthy, return to their families. Like I say, I know both men really well, both good family men, married with children, and yeah, just hope they have a good fight, put a good fight show on for the fans. Both come out the other end of it fit and healthy, and return home to their families safe and well.
Absolutely. Agree with that 100%. Nick, thank you very much. Enjoy
Thank
the
you.
fight.
Thanks, you too, man. I hope everybody else does. Speak to you all soon.